Hello everyone, this is Direwolf20 and welcome to episode 31 of Direwolf20's Space Engineer series. I am hanging out in Mars, or a Mars-like planet, and I've been poking around. This is actually a creative world. I made a copy of my single-player world that we did last episode, so as of episode 30, and I just made a new version that's creative, so just a separate world for me to play in and build some stuff. What I'd like to work on today is a planetary exploration video. So let's talk about what my goal for this build will be, because it's a little bit challenging. I want to see if it should be easy to build, light on components, B, it should probably be mostly meant for exploration, so I don't necessarily need to go mining with it. I don't necessarily need to go doing other stuff with it. Mostly just for flying around the planet, checking out some sites, and getting around quickly and easily. So with the impact of natural gravity on a planet, your weight really comes into to become a factor. So you need to have like a decent amount of weight. Well, a not decent amount of weight, I guess. You should have a small amount of weight. So let's see what we can come up with for a nice small ship. So first, let's set some planes here so that we can kind of manage this. So let's do just a few here. That's a nice small ship. We're definitely going to want a cockpit. And I'm thinking the fighter cockpit was probably a cool one to have on there. So that guy is actually pretty large. Oh, right, we don't end to turn off that. Nice. That's good. We might want to make sure that we have some oxygen pumping into there, but we'll manage that in a bit. Let's get another line of these guys. In fact, let's do this back on, right? That should be cool. Well, maybe we don't want that on. Okay. We're going to want upward lift. That's going to be responsible for getting us up and down. And we're also going to want forward and left and right lift. Down is almost like not even necessary, to be totally honest with you, almost. But because gravity. But we should probably have thrusters in that direction. So let's get some basic stuff out here. We'll do that, and I'm gonna, for now, eliminate this plane so that we just have the left and right planes to be mirroring each other. Let's get a few basic things. So we're definitely going to want gyroscopes. I want this to be a flying ship, by the way. So gyroscopes might be nice to have. And we should also have reactors. So I haven't entirely decided how I want this to work. I definitely want probably tiny reactors. Yeah, the fusion ones or the 6 points. That should be cool. And then we're going to want thrusters. So there's two types of atmospheric thrusters. There's the small atmospheric thruster and the large atmospheric thruster. That's what we're looking at today. And I want to check these guys out. So these will definitely help you fly in an atmosphere, but they're not going to be super useful out in space. Now, Mars doesn't seem to have any oxygen, but it must have some kind of atmosphere. So we're going to continue with that. So we'll stick these guys on the back here. That should look pretty nice. And we're also going to want probably on the sides here. And I'm thinking if we maintain it like that, that didn't really work out too well. So we probably want to actually have it like that. Should be nice. So that'll give us left and right management. What I would like to have, let's get... something like that going. See, that looks pretty cool, right? And we might wind up having... What I'm thinking is, eventually, we're going to clean this up, right? It's not going to be like this forever, but we'll probably have some angled stuff. But I want to see... And this is me just kind of building off the cuff. I'll clean this up. Don't worry. It'll be nicer in a minute. I want wings, kind of. So I'm thinking, and I'm almost thinking I want this thing, let's see. I wouldn't mind him being actually, what if I put a tiny piston on this guy? Let's go into our control panel. Pistons. Reverse. Yep. All right, so that didn't work so well. Let's repair some of that damage that we just did. All fixed. Crisis averted. Maybe we should just remove a few blocks here, just to make sure that we're okay. Yeah, we're good. So maybe we want the piston to actually be on the outside. I'm not sure if I'm going to want this to remain or not. Did you not put the piston? Maybe I had the piston angled the wrong way. I might have. That might have been the problem. Yeah, I'm not loving the way that looks in there anyway. So what we'll do is we'll put the piston on the outside for now and just see if we like it. Maybe. Let's keep doing what we're doing. You know what? I'm going to remove it. I'm going to hold off on the piston idea. I might try it a little bit later. Let's get a wing going here. So I'm thinking something like this. And I'd like to have the upward thrust be one of the large types. So by the way, you'll notice that there's like a fan blade, and then there's like a little particle effect, like a thrusting particle effect. That the fan blade goes like the opposite direction of where you want. The particle effect, this thing, is the direction of thrust. So this will propel us upwards at this point. That's the way this thing is going to work. And I should probably throw, even though they're not super needed, downward thrust options right here. And then we can kind of fill this in like so. That's not terrible. And then we'll probably want to have this come in like so. Don't you love the mirrored mode stuff? It's so cool. And like I said, we'll get some angled stuff going here shortly. But this should allow us to move in all 6 directions, which I kind of like the idea of, because it's pretty important to be able to do. Right? That's a basic ship. There shouldn't be much more relying on this. So let's undock him. So for now, we will remove this guy, and we'll make this the lock-unlock feature of the landing gear switch lock. So he's unlocked. I should be able to thrust upwards and move in pretty much all directions. So I wouldn't mind... Oh, you know what I didn't put on here? Yeah. I forgot a direction of thrust. There we go. That's better. So this will let me go forward. So I can't go particularly fast in the forward direction, but if I threw some more thrusters back here, I probably could. Let's see how that treats us. Oh yeah, power overloaded, but that's okay. We'll have to get something to manage that. But that shouldn't be too much of a problem. And then slowing down, obviously, is going to be a little bit of a trick. So let me come back in a minute here, and we will tweak this ship a little bit. All right, so now that we've got the basic format here of this ship, I wouldn't mind cleaning up some of the edges, right? So let's clean this up as best we can. I'm gonna remove this line, probably remove this line, and what the heck? Let's remove these guys too. That looks pretty good. So what we'll probably want to have is just some basic stuff here. So I'm thinking I'm gonna want some slopes, some corners, and whatnot. Kind of tidy this up. That looks good, right? And now if we got rid of this line, and we made these sloped, and we did the same maybe up here. There we go. Not terrible. And I could probably be doing this with a little bit more of the nifty stuff, the angled rotational, or the mirroring part, but I think we're all right as we are, right? See, that's looking like a better ship suddenly, doesn't it? Just curious. Something like this is probably not going to look good. Nah. I'll sort out how I'm going to make that look in a minute. But we will probably want something like wings coming off of this thing, maybe? I don't know, maybe not that. This might look cool. Tell me what you think. So this would have to be an angle like that. Well, maybe not that one. It should be this. Yeah. Tell me what you guys think of this thing. Right? And then maybe, like this. I have to figure out what I'm going to do with these corners, but I'll figure that out in a minute. You'll notice every time I put a block on here, the thing sinks a little bit because it's readjusting its strength, but it's okay. Has to like readjust for the new gravity, pulling down on the new mass, which is pretty awesome in my opinion. So if we got rid of these corners, right? And then we did something like this. Yeah, check that out. That's cool looking, right? And then let's just get rid of this guy. This is me just figuring out how to build a half-decent looking spaceship that's meant for not space. What do you think? That's kind of cool. I almost want that to be like one level lower, but I kind of like it because it means we'll be able to dock it like it's flush with the bottom here. So that looks pretty good to me. All right, let me see if I can't get a few more things going here. What if we cleaned this up a little bit and made this like this? Does that look halfway decent? I'm liking it so far. All right, guys, we're back. I'm just shrinking this thing up a little bit further. Managed to just compress it down a little bit smaller, which is cool. And this is really shaping up to be like a nice ship, which I'm digging. Nope, not there. There. Thank you. Doesn't that look cool? Yeah, that looks cool. Not a bad looking little vessel, huh? He's a little bit tall. I wouldn't mind shrinking him down one level lower. Yeah, I think I want to get rid of this extra layer up here. So be right back, let me do that. Yeah, this is almost looking like a nifty little land speeder type dude. Definitely with the up and down thrust, which is cool. And I like it. Just trying to decide if there's anything else I want visually to look awesome on this thing. Alright, I know I don't usually do this, but I'm giving coloring a little bit of a try. Ooh, that looks cool. I like that color blue. That is neat. I just took the default blue and just brought the value down a little bit, which I think looks really nice. Yeah. Maybe some yellow on this guy too. Like a darkish kind of yellow. Yeah, that looks neat, right? And then we'll get our blue back on here. By the way, shift middle click does like a bunch at a time, where just middle click does a single block. And I added a little bit of something up here too. So I'm not the greatest artist in the world, I know. Don't yell at me. I do my best. Let's get some like cool looking thrusters. Yeah. Can you see these from like the side? A little bit. I think that was -33, wasn't it? Yeah. Nice, right? And then maybe this guy could be that dark red too. I know, I'm not great at this stuff. I do my best. So the only thing I'm thinking to put in here is a couple batteries. I'm going with the basic batteries from Azimuth. The reason being that, let's see, X-bar batteries. So they don't hold a ton of energy. They have 400 kilowatts, right? Stored. And then what's the regular battery again? That thing's pretty large, so not an ideal shape. The other one's pretty big too, so I think that's good. And I'm debating if I want to throw a couple shield gens on there. I almost say yes to the shield gens, just because it would be nice to kind of have them ready to go when I want. So let me get my yellow color back here, and that is a pretty compact flight vessel, I would say. Neat, right? I'm kind of debating if I want to get rid of these blocks, just because I'm kind of seeing them. Yeah, that's nice. I don't totally love that I see the other things, but that's okay. Probably want some kind of light on here. So let's throw a couple spotlights. And I might want one of the extreme interior lights just because they're very powerful. But if I threw spotlights on like that, does that look kind of cool? Yeah, that's definitely useful. Now, if I'm facing downward all the way, see, I have trouble maintaining, so I have to kind of make sure to do stuff right. The other thing I'll throw on here is the extreme light. And what we'll say is control panel lights. So these guys can be spotlights, and they will have a radius of, you know, as much as they can, right? That looks pretty good. And then the extreme light will have his maxed out radius. So that when spotlights are off, we'll see that we have like a nice radius around the ship that's still being lit up. So that's cool. All right, let's name this guy. Can't I name him? Let's make sure everything is owned by me first. Yes. There we go. Planet Explorer. Sure, why not? And then just cleaning up the control panel a little bit. These guys we will name we'll just call them Reactor Uranium P1 5. We'll say 5 units of, that should be plenty. And then those can go shown terminal off. The cockpit will keep up. The gyroscope I never need to see in the terminal. The atmospheric thrusters I don't need to show in the terminal. We'll call these guys shields. We will put the shield generator a colon here. 4,000, 4,000, that's cool. And spotlights can stay, and the batteries can probably stay. That looks good. One other thing I might want to throw on here is an LCD screen, so let me see if I can get that working properly. All right, one last thing to do here. Let's go into our programmable block. And we're going to bring in, from the workshop, the shield script, refinery manager. I think it's advanced shield script. Yeah. All right, got it working. So you have to put in your argument, you have to put LCD colon and the name of the LCD block. So I named it shield LCD. And the other thing is that the shield generator has to only be named with a colon. So I had it named small shield generator colon and it wasn't working. So now it should be good. So let's see. The only thing I'm going to need here is a timer block to run this thing. So let's pop into the cockpit here and say timer block. Your actions will be to run the programmable block. And I should probably remember what the argument is because I'm going to need that. So timer block, set up actions. We go into programmable block. We're going to say run and give it the argument. Cool. And then we're going to have timer block start. Cool. Command not recognized, huh? Let's just check one or two more things. Shield LCD is... All right, back in a sec. Alright guys, I'm actually going to try a different program here, battery monitor with LCD images. So I added this to my, or not that one, where is it? Solar, no, where is it? Advanced Shield, could have sworn I added it here. Oh, there we go. I just had to hit the refresh scripts button on the bottom. Thia Shield HUD script. So this is a different program, but this one's cool because he actually added some LCD images for this. So install the mod, install the graphics pack, which is a separate mod, but both are in my collection. So just check my collection. You'll see both the mod that has the graphics pack as well as the code there. Then name one of your shield generators shield : and then choose the LCD mode below, I guess. Bars and text, I want vertical images. So we'll do that. Check code, remember an exit, and then we're gonna say this should be named shield : okay, and let's go ahead and run this dude. Oh, one more thing, the LCD name needs to be shield space LCD. You can either change it here, or I'll change it out here. So shield space LCD, we'll remove this guy, let's run him. Ooh, that's cool. So that is what? Is that horizontal? Oh, I see. Let's try, I want to make sure my timer block is stopped so he's not running all the time. Let's edit this to be to check code, yes, and run. Ah, see, that's just a little bit off center. So let's move them back one. If I moved him back, I'm going to remove my thing here. Want to use that cool yellow color that I came up with. Can I put that there and then this here on it? Nice. Perfect. That's a little bit better. And then we'll just name this shield space LCD. Programmable block run. Oh, that's cool. All right, so now let's get our timer here. Let's get him running again, but we want to set up our actions. This guy's just going to be run with default argument. We'll just do that. That sounds cool. So start. So now if I power off my shields, that should update. And then if I power them on, my timer block doesn't seem to be behaving too well, but... Oh, you know why? I think I know why. Let's make sure this is owned by me. Yes, as well as the timer block. Nice! That is cool! Look at that! So the mod that's part of this, so there's a mod and then there's the script. The mod adds the visual representation of the shields level, right? And then the script is what the programmable block runs and then reads the mod that has those. So there's actually, in LCDs, there's a bunch of different things that can be displayed, so a bunch of different textures, and you can see it adds a bunch of Thia ones here that are specific for the shields. But there's a whole bunch of cool ones that come default, and then there's other mods that add specific ones, and you can see it's automatically loading its texture onto the LCD panel as it updates. So that is very cool. Turn off the shields, turn on the shields. I like it. I think this is a very cool little planetary rover. I mean, it'll definitely fly pretty well. Let's turn on our headlights here. Wow, it is really dark on planets at night. Looks like I shouldn't be having any battery problems. Yeah, no, we're cool. Yeah, definitely no problems with power, so that's nice. I think I'm going to save this and upload it for you guys. May not be 100% perfect, but it's pretty darn close. So yeah, I will Control-C to the clipboard, create from clipboard, and we named him Planet Explorer, right? So let's get a screenshot for it. Nice. and then we will publish it for you guys to use. Done and done. All right, so I'm gonna call this a completed episode. So we've got a cool planetary explorer with a neat shield layout. Obviously, once it's daytime, we'll have a little bit better time. Just make sure to keep your ship relatively stable. You can kind of see, I guess that's like the horizon. So if I'm right lined up like that, does that mean I'm perfectly flat from the perspective of the horizon? I think that's pretty true. So just keep that in mind, because as you're going to see, if you angle your ship downward, your thrusters are not going to be strong enough. You can see I was already losing altitude. So the front-facing thrusters there are not strong enough to keep you up and running. So even at this angle, like, we're rapidly dropping. And that's probably a bad thing. So obviously we've got shields on for a reason, right? Let's see what happens. Cross your fingers. Yeah, I think the shields helped me out a little bit there. That's kind of the reason I wanted shields on this ship, because I knew that a time will come when I just crash into the planet because dire derp, right? And that would not be cool. So let's actually fly as fast as we can. Nice, that took me down to 4% shields. That is cool. I lost some kind of armor block. So I definitely took a little bit of damage somewhere. I don't know which armor block that was, but... So you really have to do some serious effort to, like, break this ship because I've got the shields on it. But, yeah, I think that's really cool. So for now, oh, no, wait. I might be wrong because something's happening. I think I lost some kind of thruster somewhere. I don't know. I lost something, but that's alright. I already have the blueprint of it working properly. But yeah, for now, Direwolf20 signing off. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. We will come back next time and maybe explore some planets with this ship. What I'm going to have to do is figure out how I'm going to build this planetary explorer on my planets, because I don't think it's going to fit through the Stargate. You know what I'll do as we wrap up the episode is I'm going to test if it fits through the Stargate. I'm going to say it probably won't. But let's see. What is going on this side of the ship that you can't slow down too well? I don't know, but let's go. Can I fit through? Oh, hey, hello. That is cool. I mean, clearly, so the problem being, right, planetary thrusters do not work in space. So I am drifting endlessly now. That's hilarious. Look, I can't control my ship at all. Yeah, so, spoiler alert, don't do that, what I just did. Goodbye, Planetary Explorer vessel. You will be missed. But yeah, if I maintain it, that's kind of cool. It definitely doesn't fit through the Stargate, so I think that's kind of an unintended thing. By the way, just so you guys do know, there is a Supergate that's part of the Stargate mod, and it's kind of big. Yeah, just a little bit big. Just so you know. Maybe we'll try building one of those later, but I suspect it's going to be complicated and difficult to build. But I don't know if we're going to need one, because really my Stargates are meant to go from my main base to planets. But if I ever needed to move a very large ship, it would be doable. Alright, for now, Direwolf20 signing off. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Take it easy.